What's up, everybody? X Spartan 1000 here, and I'm back with some more Marvel's Midnight Sun content. In this video, we're going to be talking about the prepping steps for ultimate level difficulty and beyond. So there are some things I want to highlight in this video that I don't think have been touched upon as much in other people's videos. And specifically, I'm talking about companions and managing the friendship level and who you're selecting. First off, every character is good in ultimate level difficulty. Now, the combination of the characters is going to depend on the cards that you run and then the heroes themselves. So you'll have to consider that whenever you're going in the ultimate level difficulty. It's probably not a good idea to run too many characters that are using an insane amount of heroics, because the RNG could eventually screw you over and give you a handful of mostly heroic cards, and you're not going to have the heroism to do anything. Even with items, you're going to have to be using a whole lot of runes of invigoration or the other card that gives you 2 heroic points, and I'll show you that later on in this video. But basically, you want to make sure you got a good balance of support mechanics, damage mechanics, and then people using heroics. But with the proper selection, what I'm leading to is whenever you're about to complete this game, when you fight Chthon in a final fight, it's going to pick the top 4 companions that you have friendship level with. So you don't want that to be any random individual, because I know a lot of people want to level up these characters and get their Midnight Suns outfit, which is all good, but you should have 4 characters that you're really good with, well above all the other ones. So in my case, I have Ghost Rider, who has a friendship level of 43. We got Magic at 22. We got Scarlet Witch. I'm going to build her up even more. 4 is pretty low compared to her the other people I'm selecting, but I'm building her up as time goes on. And then Nico, I have her at 38. But if you look at my other characters, they're sitting at 1s and stuff and like 2s. And this is because I want to level them up after or focus them after I get my 4 people for the in-game mission to the max level, so that way these are the people I see in the final fight, because I've spent a lot of time on creating their decks and understanding how their character works in ultimate level difficulty. Because if you are somebody who wants to play this entire campaign on ultimate level 3, you want to make sure you understand the ins and out of those characters, so you shouldn't just be using anybody. I mean, unless you just want to crash course through it, but it could lead to lower star ratings. If you're looking for 3 stars as soon as possible, you want to pick some people and then just focus on them solely, like run crazy side missions back to back with those characters, and you will get them to these high levels in no time, because as you increase the difficulty, you get an experience boon for completing the missions. So you want to lock in who you're good with. But then moving past that, the characters you're selecting is the items. Item crafting is a lifesaver in Ultimate Level 3 especially, because sometimes you're just not going to be able to one-shot most ads as soon as the fight starts. You're going to have to set up and get some plays created. Out of the beginner cards that you get, Armor Piercing Charm is good, especially for trying to get rid of those annoying Riot Shield people. I don't think it is something that's a necessity later on, because there's so many things that can do way more than this card does, but this is not completely useless. You can definitely get some worth out of this, especially if you're doing missions where you're destroying the Nest Mother, because this can help you one-shot the guy that's protecting her. Nanite Edge earlier on, whenever you're building up to ultimate level difficulty, is nice for low damage parties, because you get to apply bleeds to your attacks, which will often finish off bosses for you or help take out minions. Vampiric Essence, especially for Ghost Rider players, this is very good because he can heal some crazy amounts of damage, because it heals for the damage you deal. And anybody who plays Ghost Rider knows that you have to damage yourself whenever you're using certain moves. So this will mitigate that completely. Plus, your passive max health will increase after X amount of kills. So this is something to consider. Battlefield Scanner Mark II is very, very good. Being able to draw 4 cards will sometimes pull you into those cards that you really want to spam, or set you up into combos and plays that you typically make because you're pulling 4 cards that you were going to do a whole turn later instantly whenever you're ready for them. So keep that one in mind. Evil Eye Totem is probably the top dog card, because if you're not familiar with marked means if that person dies while they're marked, that player turn was free. Almost like you have the quick thing, basically, the quick effect to your cards. You kill somebody while they're marked, you get it for free. So ideally, you want to try to find a way to get the majority of the enemies taunted to you. So for example, in the Nest Mother missions, hit the Nest Mother, and then whoever everybody gets aggro to, put this card on them, and then you will be able to kill all those people for free, assuming you have the cards in your hand to do so. It allows you to go on basically without the enemies getting a turn. And believe me, in ultimate level difficulty, you don't want the enemies to have a turn. If the enemy should have a turn, Neural Enhancer is the best thing for you. So say you're wrapping up your first turn and unfortunately there's a few people left. Drop your Neural Enhancer, especially if there's going to be some sort of mission where it's going to be reinforcements, because your next turn will be that much stronger, because you're going to have 4 plays to make instead of 3. And then if you're combining this with something like Evil Eye Totem, you're going to be doing stuff for a very long time. Rune of Invigoration is a big favorite of mine, especially for Darkness Hunters that use Annihilation, or for people that just use any sort of character in this game that uses quite a lot of heroics, because instantly off the bat you gain 4 heroism. Whenever it shows you when you're activating the card who you want to select, you're selecting who's going to gain the vulnerable status effect. Now don't freak out about this vulnerable status effect too much, because there's ways of cleansing that from your character, and more often than not, if you're about to overload yourself with some heroism, you can usually get some crazy damage returns for doing so. And then next, Phoenix Flame could be very good. I don't typically count on any of my characters dying, so I kind of like ignore this one. I do bring it just in case, because I was wondering if I'd ever come across an encounter where I would end up having some teammates fall in combat, and then this would be useful. But I think if you're playing the cards to the best of your ability, you won't have to use any sort of revival mechanics at all in the game. I've been playing on Ultimate 3 for a while now, and honestly, the only time I ever had a death with the characters that are in my core 4 was when I did a Deadpool stream, and Deadpool cards just kept coming up and it messed up the flow of the combat, and that's how a death came about. But when I'm playing with my top dogs, constantly training with them, we don't need any revive mechanics, especially if we're making the best out of our plays, or the most out of our plays. Channeling Hex is very good for people who play off a lot of environmental stuff. Magic and Spider-Man for the honorable mentions for this card. This is very good. The only thing that's bad about this card is that some environmental, or some maps that you get, don't have many environmental hazards for you to even play off of. But the ones I highlighted are the ones you definitely want to go for. The last thing I want to bring to you guys' attention for this short list in this video is training. Training should be something you do with the heroes you are specifically trying to level up to the top tier as fast as possible. And the reason why I also tell you to take 4 people, like how I did Ghost Rider, Nico, Scarlet Witch, and Magic, is that the days for training, somebody's usually not able to train with you for another 3 or 4 days. So if you have 4 people, you can go day 1 Ghost Rider, day 2 Nico, day 3 Scarlet Witch, and then day 4 Magic. And then by the time Magic is done with her day, Ghost Rider can go again, then Nico can go, and then that's how you constantly keep them building up to be stronger. And then the thing is, whenever you're playing in ultimate level difficulties, having those buffs from training makes a hell of a lot of a difference. Coming into the mission with the ability to move twice, especially now that Deadpool can allow you to shove people twice, coming with extra damage, coming with 4 card plays, starting the map with heroism or just extra like resistance or block. All of that stuff is super impactful for ultimate level difficulty. So constantly train with your 4 people. And then once you get them around, honestly, once they were around like 20-ish, that's when it felt like they were comfortable. I think 43 and stuff like that is definitely excessive, but I'm not going to lie, it is funny to see how much you can potentially keep scaling because you get health and offense per champion point. And then every friendship level is increasing knockback and so many other things. So you can definitely say you're safe at 20 for those people who are completionists that want to get level 5 with everyone, because I know I want to do that as well, but I'm going to save that for either post-game stuff or just right before the final fight. But I wanted to keep this video short. That's it for me, guys. I've been X Spartan 1000, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.